So you finally turned 7. Well done. By now you've probably learned how to walk, talk, maybe sing the alphabet. And you may have recently found out that there are numbers that go beyond 10 and whatnot. You may feel a bit proud about yourself, and why shouldn't you? I mean, your parents seem pretty satisfied whenever you have a small discovery that they took as an unusual concept. At this point, self-awareness may not be your main concern, but you probably notice that you need to be nice to others if you want to gain their trust. On the playground, you stay away from those that think of themselves as the center of the universe, and you stick to people that you sympathize with. But after a few years of finger painting, you start noticing patterns everywhere, and the world seems to be that pandemonium of colors that make no sense. And I know that it's a bit frightening in the beginning, but you'll eventually learn to like it, or not. Your first day in school will probably feel weird, unless your social skills are enough to overcome all the insecurities that you have at that point. But that's fine because the classrooms are comfortable and the teachers seem to be pretty nice. And for most of the time, it will be like this, so just try to enjoy it as much as you can. There's a thing or two that bothers you during the school year, like homework and other things they ask in literature and maths, or that weird classmate of yours that sits next to you during geography class. But it's fine because you get to spend time with your friends and you're doing pretty well at some subjects, except biology, of course. But yeah, years pass and you start noticing that some of the material that you learn is pretty much useless in real life. Biology. And you might question the system and condemn it and maybe even revolt, but you'll eventually give in due to social pressure, and because mutineers have a faith worse than death, like detention, social media starts to be something that everyone seemingly is into, and you also decide to give it a try. And the next minute you find yourself in a glut of status updates and paranoia that you might have missed some story about Gwen and Ben having a breakup. And even though you don't care about those people, you keep revisiting their profiles and feel pathetic when comparing your 87 friends or followers that you have with their 600. And suddenly you find yourself in the position where you replace the time you could spend with your family or reading a book with pointless hours of going through stories on Snapchat and Twitter. Unless you're using Google Plus, of course. Because let's be honest, if you're using Google Plus, you fucking deserve it. By now you probably start having some weird feelings towards some of your classmates of the opposite sex, or same. And it involves things that you previously took as grotesque, such as body fluids and other stuff. And you probably found someone who you want to be close with, but you got rejected. And now all you can do is pretend that it's not a big deal. Welcome to the world of relationships, delusion, and sex. But you'll most likely focus on the last bit, as most of us do, and it will be the main factor that will determine your taste in music, art, movies, and books. And eventually you will find your true love. Oh wait, no, I meant the friend zone. Then that day comes by. Someone dies, or you get rejected, or you've started trigonometry and everything feels like crap. You still keep a smile on your face and you tell everyone that you're fine regardless of how you actually feel, because you've already dealt with situations like this and you're sure that it will pass away, as it always did. But this time it didn't. Your mind is now swirling with thoughts you never had before, and you want to listen to sad music and you want to cry but decide not to. You don't particularly want to see your friends because they're all idiots, and every attempt they make to help you simply brings more frustration and distress. You try for a cigarette and you hate it, so you move on to drinking, which despite it being everyone's pill for depression, you find it inherently repulsive. And you might ask yourself, how did you end like this? Your friends are idiots, your parents are idiots, no one can understand what you're going through right now, and you probably don't either. You're alone in this world. It's as if everyone stopped caring that you're alive. So this is what it's gonna be like for the rest of your life, because it's all about you. That is, of course, until all of this just disappears and you're back to normal for no apparent reason. Good luck getting your friends back and explaining what happened. Oh, wait a second, you're 16 already. Time to choose your main subject that your entire life will depend upon. Yeah, but don't feel under pressure, it's just your future that we're discussing here. Nothing important. At the same time, try to be reasonable and rely on something solid like law or medicine. There's no need for that humanitarian or science philosophy that no one cares about. Only 2 years remain until you finish school, and the finish line doesn't seem so far anymore. Anxiety is now something that you have to deal with on a daily basis, but there's no need to rush and choose a particular course for university, because after all, you have an entire summer to contemplate on that. Just try to focus on school and do your prep all the time, and learn words and read books that make you look and sound intelligent. Words like coruscating, jacose, and outre, which by definition, if you use all three of these in a sentence, you will look, sound, and embody a prick. Oh, and also don't forget to follow the news daily, even though it's just a clusterfuck of arguments between politicians fighting over matters that they don't care about, and eventually the prime minister resigns. And don't forget about getting work experience. Starbucks, Pizza Hut, and McDonald's are all acceptable places, which will reward you with a full experience of customer service that you can proudly use in your future physics degree. Congrats, you made it to the last year, and considering that your hair didn't turn white and insomnia is something that only occasionally occurs, your experience is an overall success. I mean, you still go to lessons, but most of the time you spend on the internet trying to convince yourself that a degree in law and economics is what you actually want, at least according to your teachers and parents. You take their advice and start focusing on subjects in school that will guarantee you a place for that course, because someone else obviously knows better what you want to pursue in life, oblivious of your personal skills and ambitions. But this is not true, of course, because from the moment you were asked to choose, you decided to give everyone the the finger and pursue a career in art and philosophy. And you also decided to apply to a couple of prestigious universities that are way out of your league, hoping that a miracle will happen. But no need to worry, you can always work at McDonald's. Final exams are approaching at an alarming rate, and all of your free time is now entirely sacrificed to countless hours of revision and past papers. I'm looking for pictures of Emma Watson on the internet. Coincidentally, the new season of Game of Thrones is also released at that time, as if they want us to fail. I mean, why are you doing this to us? Daylight is also considered a rare commodity, and fresh air is experienced only when you walk the dogs. And there you are in the exam hall with the paper in front of you. And you also notice that the person next to you brought a ruler, whereas you don't have one. But don't worry, it's not as if you need a ruler in the maths exam. Oh god. You do. Someone keeps sniffing their nose in the back of the room, which is insanely irritating, and the temperature seems a bit too high, making your entire back sweat. Yeah, but somewhere midway through your exam, you stumble across an exercise. You know, the one that I'm talking about, the one that decides to take a piss on your future, and you stop for a moment and regurgitate over what you read last night. Or you might just pray, but it doesn't matter, because the overall result is the same and you skip it eventually. This is the truth though. Some papers will go well, and others will make you want to kill a puppy. But it doesn't matter because it's over and you're free. So now what? Well, technically there are still 5 more days of school left, but you don't really care because there's this book that you started last year but you never got to finish it, and you can finally go out with your friends, and sleep seems to be something from the distant past, and many other things that you will never actually do that summer. But who cares? You're finally free from that purgatory set to produce sentient robots with personality disorder, and you can't wait for the last day when during the leavers will you can tell everyone to suck a fat one. Well, here you are. Everyone is giving their speech in front of the entire school, and this might be the last time you'll ever see them. Do you actually hate this place? Was everything that bad? Well, the biology teacher's a cunt, and you're standing next to this mate of yours that made everyone question whether you're straight or not, and thinking about exam results makes you want to puke, but suddenly your legs are shaking and your voice sounds as if you just hit puberty again, and so many other bizarre emotions strike you at once. Do you feel sad? Or is it just happiness? Or is it just that, oh no, please don't do it? Such a pussy. And yes, you will most likely miss them. And why shouldn't you? They had to go through their own weird issues that you weren't aware of, and you'll feel utterly unprepared for the next step. But you might tell yourself that everything's gonna be fine, and that school was the hardest part of your life. Well, you're wrong. I have no idea what are your last memories related to school. Probably talking to that biology teacher. But now that it's all over, you probably feel a bit empty, as you stay less in touch with your friends and have a lot of spare time. You should probably get a hobby and make irrelevant videos. Or you might look up more pictures of Emma Watson on the internet.